Okay, so we're back in the form now. Now we've got one final function to build, and that is the results. So let's get started with that now, because that's probably going to be the biggest one. So double click on that, and we have it here. So we need to code that part in. As you can see, previously this is all the code that we've done so far in the previous one. They're very small compared to this one that we're going to start now, and I've left that last for a reason, because it's actually going to be slightly long. So the first thing we're going to do when we click on that button, if there is something that was previously there, we want to clear it out just the same way as before. So this one was called the result view box, and we want to clear it. Use the clear method. So that will clear it out if there is already something inside it. Now what I want to do, let's think about this. We need to create an array, another array, but this time it's not going to hold lines. We want it to hold individual elements, so we need to break that line into smaller elements, and then put each element in a separate, basically individually in the array. So each element will hold one individual entry, so one individual word, whether it's a number or whether it's actual operator. So it's like multiply, plus, subtract, that kind of stuff. So we need to do that. So the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to create an array, a string, but having string, and I'm going to say show element. Now I've done that, obviously because we haven't used it, it's got that green line, and it says variable show elements is declared but never used. We haven't used it yet. We're going to use it shortly. We might need actually a regular expression again to make use of that regular expression that we used in the calc class. So I'm going to use the match collection. There might be a better way of doing this, maybe coding this inside the actual calc class and just calling a method or something to do all the calculations for us, or the whole parsing of the file and that sort of stuff. But I'm just going to do it here for now, just so you can show you the different options of how you're going to approach this. Right, you can see that it's got that red line underneath, and the reason, again, like I said, we have to add it up here. So using system, go down here. Here you go. It's still saying it's not being used. Nothing to worry about just yet. What I want to do is, we know that the maximum is that we have 3 numbers in a line, and we also have one operator or operand, like a multiply, one of these keywords. So the way we're going to approach it, and we also need something that will hold the results, the actual once it adds the numbers together or multiplies or performs an arithmetical operation on these numbers. We want to store the result somewhere, or the value somewhere. So we're going to I think the way we're going to do it is we'll have 4 ints. So we're going to have sum num1, num2 and num3. And the operator, or that operation, we're not going to use it just yet. We'll work it out with something else as we go along, or maybe we just avoid it altogether. What we'll do is we'll do another check, just in case the user was to click on results without actually adding the file. We want to see if the file's really been added or not. So we'll do another quick check, very similar to what we did before. So we might actually just scroll up and just copy this. It's just a lazy way of doing it. So we'll do that. So we'll copy these parts because we're going to duplicate this again. And then we need to close that else state. Now I'm going to copy these 3 lines as well, because we're going to use that in here. And in this time we're going to do something slightly different inside this for loop. Now in this for loop, what we want to do is we want to check. So we're going to use the collection again, like we used previously, and we're going to use the match. So we're going to find a pattern. So the pattern we're looking for now is in the show line I. We want to find if there is any space. So each element will have a space in between. So we need to see. So I've just misspelled that, and I've misspelled this part as well. Matches. Right. So we need to basically see how many spaces we have between each part. So in the first line, we need to see, right, how many spaces in between, and then separate these things so that we know the first one would be an operation of some sort, like a multiply or one of these keywords, and the second part of the word, the second word would be obviously a number, and the third would be a number, and then if it's a more complex operation or equation, we will have another keyword such as add, multiply, or subtract, or divide, and then it will be another number after that. Fourth element in the array will be that. So we already know that in the back of our minds. We know that could be the possibility. So we need to check, and we need to divide things accordingly. So what we're going to do, every time we look through a line, we need to count how many elements is in that line. So I'm going to create another integer type variable, and I'm going to call it elements count. And elements count is basically the collection, like we'd used previously, and then count. So now we've done that, we now have the number of elements that's inside that array. So already counted how many elements exist in that particular line.